Welcome to the Content Amplified podcast, brought to you by Masset. Our goal is to help you get more from your marketing content. Each episode is a 10 to 15 minute interview with industry experts that share amazing insights to help you squeeze as much juice from your content as you possibly can. Here's today's interview.
Welcome back to the Content Amplified podcast. Excited to have everyone here today. We have a fascinating subject today and an awesome guest. So I want to introduce John. John, maybe take a couple minutes and talk about who you are and your background.
Hey, my name is Jonathan Sandals. I'm originally from the editorial side of marketing, but in the last couple of years, from having to grow my own app that I started with no money, I really kind of began to specialize in how to get owned and earned users through Reddit, different Reddit communities, and now I do a lot of growth hacking on from my current company, Linear B, and then I also do some consulting on the side for other businesses who want to tap into one of the world's largest websites.
I love it. I love it. And as a big fan of Reddit and the various communities, but also as someone who has never used it for B2B marketing or marketing in general, I'm super fascinated about the subject today because I think there's some really good insights and I think it's a fantastic community. So let's dive in. So if I'm a marketer and I want to take advantage of Reddit, what are some recommendations? How do I go after going in that community and not getting torched by doing it the wrong way and all that kind of stuff? What's the right way of using Reddit?
First, I would just kind of talk about the benefits of Reddit compared to other kind of social media platforms. So it's, as I was saying, it's one of the world's most popular websites. If you look at, similar.web, it's always in the top 5, top 4 most visited websites in the world alongside Amazon, alongside Facebook. And people really kind of stay away from it because their cost per click and display ads are really tough because the community is pretty savvy. People use Reddit, know not to click on ads. The good thing though is compared to like Twitter and LinkedIn, it doesn't penalize you for putting external links in, for example. It rewards good content. It's democratic. You don't need to build this like personal following like you might on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, which you have to keep pumping out content for all the time. It's a kind of a one-shot deal if you want to. If you say I have a good piece of content, I'm going to put it on there, and the community will reward you or spit you out. So if you want to leverage Reddit, obviously you need to understand that Reddit is built on thousands and thousands of kind of self-moderated communities. For this example, let's talk about the developer space. So if anybody out there works with developers or you're marketing developers, they're irreverent, they're funny, and they rely upon each other a lot to gain wisdom, right? They're very, not cynical is the right word, but very cautious about the information they're fed from different media authorities. So they like to rely on each other for what they should be reading and what they should be listening to. So let's say I want to market to developers on Reddit. There's probably about, depending on what my market is, there's probably about 20 subreddits with at least 250,000 followers or subscribers to them that you could be reaching out to, either through one, trying to promote a piece of content through like a URL, or two, you seeding a discussion about a particular pain point in the developer life that you want to bring knowledge or awareness to. And, what is really good about Reddit compared to so many other content platforms I've used is it allows you to take a piece of content you've created to be discoverable by search or discoverable by some broader title or broader concept and pick out like the juiciest nugget from it and lead with that on Reddit. So let's say I have an article on, incident management systems or something like that. Something not very sexy. But inside that article, there's something about how Southwest Airlines lost $800 million when they had that big Southwest screw up. To get traffic to that article, I can take that nugget and lead with that on Reddit. I can say, today I learned Southwest Airlines lost $800 million, and then see that get upvoted, and then see the traffic that generates from that, where you're able to highlight to your ICP, to your market, the most interesting part of a particular article, rather than just the broad concept. So, we're limited by the constraints in blogs and stuff like that about, you have to have your titling a certain way. But Reddit allows you to experiment, play around, and figure out what emotional response you can get from your target community with what you're creating.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great call out. It's true that you've got just a couple seconds when you're on Reddit to really stand out for people. And I love the emotional connection, that there's just such a small opportunity. But I love that you also focused on it is a very unique platform in the fact that the content wins. It's more about the content than the creator. And I think they tout right, it's the front page of the internet. So they're okay with sending you elsewhere. I think platforms like TikTok, where they also kind of have taken this mentality of the best content will get promoted. It doesn't matter how many followers you have, has given people a lot of opportunity to go and really explode their content. But you're right. There's so many other platforms where it's great, it's a 5-year slog before you're going to have enough of a following for anything to matter, So I think it's a cool opportunity when you're looking for quick wins in social media, that there are some opportunities inside that space.
And the thing is, the scale is there for these communities. Like if you take the R programming community, the biggest developer community on Reddit, there's, I think, 5.8 million subscribers to that community.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, the way I've made Reddit marketing palatable to people who don't really understand it is, think about it like newsletters, right? Think about a subreddit as this continually updating newsletter.
Yeah.
And how much would you have to pay on your team for a placement in a newsletter with 5.8 million people? Probably like $75,000, right? Like something crazy.
Yep. Absolutely.
But here it is. You can just experiment and do it on your own, right?
Yeah.
And there's little tricks of the trade you can do, and we can probably, if you ever want to know more about this stuff, or dive into the nitty gritty of doing this. But a lot of the time, the way that a subcommunity works is you submit something, it goes into their news section. There's a news section and a hot section on each subreddit. So it'll enter the news section, and then with enough minor amount of upvotes, it can get to the hot section where it starts to become visible to the general base of subscribers.
Yeah.
And then if it gets high enough, then it starts entering people's main feeds accurately. So, when you go to your home feed on Reddit, the articles that are showing up, or the pieces of content that are showing up, are the top from your subreddits.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, there's all these free pipelines of potential customers that are looking for content, looking to engage with cool ideas at your disposal, and there's no gatekeeper to these people. You just have to be good in what you're giving.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point as well. A couple episodes ago, I talked to someone, and we really kind of hit hard on this concept of content market fit. In business, we talk about product market fit a lot, and how that's the best thing you can do for your business. Well, in marketing, I would argue that content market fit is really, really important. It's the most important thing you could do as a marketer. And Reddit sounds like a pretty good filter, right? If it's just about the content, not the creator, if you've got stuff and you've got a community, a subreddit that's for your specific audience, it sounds like a great platform to test it out. If you're publishing content and you put it on there and it gets no upvotes, guess what? You don't have content market fit. But if it starts taking off, then maybe you're onto something. And then you can also see what else is successful for that community. But that is kind of a litmus test, if it's really judging your content, not necessarily your profile. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and the thing is, the people who do end up commenting, you're going to have your range and your bell curve of like malcontents, but a lot of the time it's the those people they're if somebody posts crap, like they're just trying to talk crap about your post, they'll generally get up downvoted, and the stuff
Yeah.
in the comment section will generally be elevated to the top. And I can't count the amount of times where I've taken insights from what users have said in the community and said, oh, that's an interesting idea or an interesting thing we should add to our content going forward, or a pivot I should do in wording, that there's this concern about our product right away that I didn't see. Like, people are like, well, I'm not going to use this because I have this concern. And then I can go back to the product team and say, hey, we need to make it clear that privacy isn't going to be an issue because, or, automations aren't going to, a workflow pipeline.
Yeah.
Because that's what the community is saying about what we're putting out there.
Yep, exactly. I think a lot of times we spend all this time worrying about how do I get more feedback. And if you want feedback from the fire hose, Reddit's a good place to do it. I remember as a kid, I watched this movie. My dad was a big Weird Al fan, Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, nice.
And there's the movie UHF
Of course,
as a kid. And they're on that, and they have this game show, and a part of that, you've got this little kid who finds a marble in the oatmeal. It's this giant pool of oatmeal, and his reward is that he gets the drink from the fire hose. So he's on this little play horse. They put a fire hose like 5 inches away from his head, turn it on, and like it blasts him off the horse, kind of an idea. And I think sometimes people are intimidated by that kind of feedback because Reddit, it can come, and it can come real quick. But if you're hungry for feedback, it's a channel to really look at and to take that feedback seriously, even if positive or negative. Like, feedback is good if you take it right.
And that kind of hesitancy and reactivity to kind of negative feedback, it goes away once you say, hey, this is a channel that we're actually going to start playing with, right?
Yeah.
You get dulled to it after a while. You get dulled like you get dulled to the trolls after, like, your fifth or sixth post. If you're actively engaging with this community, you know what to find, you know what to prioritize in terms of feedback, and what there's just stuff that's par for the course. And what I see is a lot of people say, we tried doing one post on Reddit. And I'm like, I do like 50 posts a week experimenting, right? Like you can't just do one and done. It needs to be something active you're thinking about. And the best part is it's a living, breathing community. There's no gate to it. It's in the same way. If you bring your idea for a company to a VC, they will be ruthless in ripping it apart. But the good thing is, if you're confident in what you're bringing to the table, like if it's good, if it resonates, it'll hit. It's the same deal with content on Reddit. You can have all these machinations or ideas in your head saying, we published it, it must be good. But like, throwing out there to the people who are actually supposed to be consuming it is the most kind of informative and empowering thing you could be doing. To see, hey, this is actually good content that is driving people to our company, and they're buying into the thought behind our product.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Well, these are some great points why anyone should possibly consider taking a double look at Reddit as a possible outreach strategy. And obviously it's not a one and done. It's you got to kind of rough it out and try it out. Just like any channel that you're willing to optimize on, it's really tough to really focus for just a couple minutes and try it out once and understand if it's a long-term strategy. But it sounds like there's some really cool, unique benefits to Reddit. And I think there's some good opportunities on the platform for sure.
And the last thing I would say, when people are out there, if you're marketing and trying to get your ideas out to the broader media, You know where media gets their stories? They get it from Reddit.
Yeah.
Like when I started a company and when I really started experimenting with Reddit, I used to have to like knock down doors to get people to cover it. But by the first time I hit the homepage on Reddit with my company, I didn't have to ask anymore. People would just come to me. And then especially in the marketing space and content marketing space and thought leadership, there are so many copywriters out there or content managers who have to put out newsletters, who have to put out so much, aggregated content that they just go straight to Reddit and they say, what's top of the community right now? And they pick your thought leadership up and put it, and you get all this extra earned promotion.
That's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, John, thank you so much for taking the time. This has made me think a lot about Reddit and how I can implement it, and hopefully for everyone listening. If anyone wants to continue the conversation or connect with you or pick your brain or share a fun Reddit post or do anything like that, how can they find you online and connect with you best?
Yeah, probably LinkedIn. Jonathan Sandals on LinkedIn. Got a big smile on my face. Location, Chicago. Best city in America. So
Chicago is fun. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm a new transplant here, and I'm an insufferable Chicago evangelist now. So, yeah.
That's a good sign you found home. So that's a good thing. Awesome. All right. Well, John, thanks for the time today. And we'll put all of John's information in the show notes so you can reach out and connect with John. But thanks again.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you for listening to the Content Amplified podcast. Please subscribe and leave us a review. And for additional ways to get more out of your content, visit our website at getmasset.com. That's getmasset.com. And tune in next time to the Content Amplified podcast.